I want to talk about books today because I'm in my reading era right now. I want to share some of my favorite reads. This is a mix of stuff I've finished so far this year, also mostly last year. If you're wanting to get back into reading, these are good recommendations. My most recent finish, it's He Loved Me Some Days, I'm Sure He Did by Charlotte Erickson, The Glass Child. This book is a 10 out of 10 for me because it's basically about finding yourself again after being in a relationship. This girl was in a relationship for 6+ years with a guy she didn't even know if he loved her or not, and this is basically her path to getting out of that relationship, the healing of it, and kind of finding her way back to herself. But it's also about finding beauty in life around and the beauty of being single as well. I don't know, it's like poetry slash like journal entries of hers. This one changed my life. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. As you could see, it did some major annotating in this. There's just so much in here that truly applies to my life. Every time I would read this in public, someone would say something about the book. I would just be, mysterious in the corner reading, and then they'd be like, "Excuse me," and I'm like, "Yes." They're like, "That book changed my life." As I was reading it, I was like, holy shit, must be a good book. And it is. There's just a bit of everything in this book. It touches on a lot of different aspects of life, and I definitely 20 out of 10. This one is Flux by Orion. The back is so cute though. It says, "Read these words and think of me, and when you do, I'll be right here beside you." This one is, I believe, her first book, and it's just a short poetry book, basically on poetry from more of like her adolescent section of her life. The Song of Achilles. This one made me cry for sure. And if you're into Greek mythology, stuff of that sort, this is definitely a good book. To be honest, I saw it blowing up on TikTok, and that's why I read it, but it was definitely worth the hype, I would say. I would probably give this an 8 out of 10. Classic Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur. It's also poetry, and it's about the different phases in her life when she was super depressed and dark, similar to this one. Also her being in a toxic relationship and kind of finding her way back to herself. Very good. You should have read it already if you haven't, because this book was huge like years ago, but I did just start reading it and finished it. But yeah, that one was also really good. I would probably give that one a 9 out of 10 for sure. I felt so seen reading that book. It felt so refreshing to know that I have gone through most of those emotions that the author has gone through as well. Year of Rest and Relaxation by Otessa. This one definitely was hard to finish, I would say, because I don't know, it was just hard to read because I feel like I could be in her position if I let myself fall deep, if that makes sense. This one was kind of scary to read because I felt so connected with it. It's really good though. It's like based in New York, this girl living on her own. Solid like 9 out of 10 for sure, but it was definitely low-key trippy to read. Risking Everything, 110 Poems of Love and Revelation. Oh, so good. This one is another 20 out of 10. I love poetry, and this has all the classics in it, all about romance, but also about revelations, you know, like epiphanies the poets had. So good. Definitely recommend. I have two more. The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. This one made me realize that I need to get it together when it comes to my finances. And it was really fascinating though, because it wasn't just talking about demographics of people and their incomes. Like, I see the word money and I think, oh, it's just a book based on numbers. This is actually the mind, how the mind reacts to money, as well as different ways to change your mindset about money in order to start implementing those goals that you have, expanding your income. And then last but certainly not least, Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty. I love Jay Shetty. I gifted this for Christmas 2 years ago. Just finished it last month. And this one I read before The Power of Now. This is kind of what got me to read The Power of Now. So fascinating. It talks about his life as he decided to live as a monk. The journey he took, how it affected his life coming back. It talks about love, but also talks about gratitude, as well as how to be the best version of yourself and to be the best version of yourself for others in others' lives. And talks about finding your passion in life as well. Those are all of my book recommendations. Sorry for missing another week of uploading. I just started college again. It's been not stressful, but it's definitely been a lot of work. And speaking of work, I've been working a lot. So it's also why I haven't really had time to film anything, but I wanted to do something different, little book recommendations. And yeah, let me know if you give any of them a chance or if you have any book recommendations for me. I'd love to hear them.